This is meteorologist Mark Molnar, and as always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. We have a lot to talk about, from Tropical Depression Fred. Was a tropical storm, downgraded to depression over the island of Hispaniola as the mountainous terrain has really done a number on it. This island tends to be the graveyard for tropical systems. Will Fred come back? And if Fred does come back, how strong will it be? Will it reattain those tropical storm characteristics? And will it enter the Gulf of Mexico and re-strengthen and affect Florida? I'll break it down for you, along with Invest 95L on the heels of Fred out in the open Atlantic. Will it follow a similar track? How strong will it be? And what areas could this be our next named storm? I'm kind of thinking it could be. I'll break down the heat wave across North America, heat and humidity, along with severe weather, especially across the east and the northeast. I'll break down all the trouble spots for you, as nature seems to be going on a rampage this week, actually this month or this summer, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe, smash the bell button so you're alerted when I come out with one of these videos. Smash the like button so we get more coverage. Also, let's get to 5,000 subscribers, everybody. Question or comment in the comment section below. Let's get into it. And taking a look at Tropical Depression Fred, it's really done a number. The island of Hispaniola on Tropical Storm Fred is now a tropical depression. I expect it to remain a tropical depression at least through Friday, because it will be battling some southwesterly wind shear on the moderate level, anywhere from 10 to 15 knots here at times. So by the time it gets to the Florida Keys, I do expect it to be some sort of weak tropical system. However, once it gets into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, once it gets past the Florida Keys, it gets into a much more favorable area. Wind shear slackens. Sea surface temperatures go through the roof here into the eastern Gulf, well above average. And I do expect this system to reattain tropical storm status and then eventually moderate to even possible strong tropical storm status as it moves up the western Florida coastline and eventually the Florida Panhandle. So let's get right into the rest of the particulars here. And there it is, Tropical Depression Fred, the island of Hispaniola, really doing a number on it, will be re-emerging out into the open waters as a tropical depression. I do expect it to battle some wind shear. Southwesterly wind shear as the system continues towards the northwest, skipping along the North Cuban coast, eventually reaching the western Florida Keys here, and by the weekend, the western Florida coast. So we will have a much favorable area for development in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And behind that, if that weren't enough, Invest 95L into the Atlantic here. This is where we're going to see the potential for our next named storm. I do have anywhere from a 30 to especially a 50% chance in the red there over the next several days here. We have plenty of time to watch this system, but I do believe this system has a very good chance of developing. This could be our next named system, and it is really interesting to see. I'll show you in the models exactly what this potentially happens with this system as it approaches the southeastern part of the United States. So the tropics are going to continue to heat up here, and the pattern is a very interesting one here. And we don't have anything going on in the Gulf of Mexico at the moment, but that will change as soon as Fred reemerges across the Florida Straits into the eastern Gulf. And there's the tropical Atlantic. You have Fred over the island of Hispaniola there. It's holding on, convection along the southern island of Hispaniola. And there's Invest 95L out in the open Atlantic, halfway between Africa on the lower right-hand corner of your screen and the northern coast of South America and the Lesser Antilles. So there you have it. And taking a look at the GFS model, it brings Fred out of the Cuba island area and then across the western part of Florida, right up the coastline. It's interesting what it does afterwards. It kind of meanders it back out into the Gulf of Mexico because the steering currents become very weak by the time Monday. But look at this. You get this another system behind it. That's Invest 95L. That comes on the heels of Fred, but brings it further east of Florida, develops it into something big, major, and then makes landfall in the Carolinas. Now, this is pretty far out, but this is something to note here. This is a trend, and we'll have to see if this continues with the GFS. And here we go, taking a look at the CMC model. Look at this. This is interesting. It's further east. It actually brings it inland along the Florida Peninsula, unlike the GFS, which is out over the open water. We'll have to see if, and this becomes a trend, but I don't know. I think it's going to stay mainly just offshore the west coast. But you see what the CMC does with the Invest 95L system. Keeps it out over the open water. Does develop it. But nevertheless swings it away from the southeast coast. Here we go with the Euro. Interestingly enough, the Euro is kind of in between the GFS and the CMC model. Basically keeping it just inland off the west coast of Florida or just slightly off the coast, whichever way you look at it here. Invest 95L, it keeps it just basically on its heels and then making landfall in the eastern part of Florida and then swinging up towards the Carolinas, it almost looks like. So we'll have to watch these trends. The overall pattern is there, though, so we need to watch this. And Derek Rentschler from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, back on August 9th when you had some strong thunderstorms. A time lapse of this nice strong thunderstorm. Look at that cloud deck moving in, signifying that strong thunderstorm moving into the area. This is going to be the rule, especially through about late Friday here. So nice capture of this thunderstorm time lapse here in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Derek. Upper air pattern across North America. Jet stream really far to the north. The only place where it's coming down is later on Friday into Saturday. This takes us through the early part of the weekend. Trough kicking in across the lakes. That's with that cold front moving in across the east, to the northeast especially. We still will be seeing very hot and humid conditions across the northeast for your Thursday, August 12th, and Friday, August 13th. And there it is across the west. Oh, that is just sweltering heat dome, high pressure ridge continuing across the west, and wildfire threat will continue across the west. So this is very bad news. Precipitation totals across North America, there it is. Your eyes are really drawn to the Florida area. Look at that. That is with Tropical Storm Fred that will be moving and approaching into the area for the weekend, Saturday through Monday time frame. It will be moving along the upper coastline here, the western coastline of Florida, spreading anywhere from 3 to as much as 7 inches of rain quite easily across the area. And you see the cold front moving up across the east as well, bringing 1 to 2 inches. For the northeast here for Thursday, this is looking like a very terrible day across the northeast. In fact, not only do we have dangerous heat, but we also have the threat of strong to severe storms. Not only just the slight to marginal, but also the enhanced risk as well into the orange zone. So you have slight in the yellow, orange is the enhanced. Closer to the front in southern Ontario. We have temperatures soaring well to near 100, places like Harrisburg, D.C., New York City, Albany, mid-90s, places like Binghamton State College and Pittsburgh. Boston, look at that, Concord, even into Maine, well into the lower to mid-90s here. Heat index values will be between 100 and 110 here in many areas, so it's very dangerous across the northeast. And if that doesn't get you the strong to severe thunderstorms later in the day, particularly between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m., especially into the yellow shading and the orange shading. Now, it's not going to be a tremendous severe weather outbreak, but the closer you are to that orange shading, I'm a bit concerned for some damaging wind, large hail, and some isolated tornadoes. Thursday across the southeast, it will be your typical hazy, hot, and humid conditions. We will have some showers and thunderstorms developing during the afternoon hours, especially in the north. Look at that, 99 in Nashville and Raleigh, 96 in Norfolk. Those are actually the warmest areas in the north. And then hazy, hot, and humid conditions across much of the south. South Florida will be getting in on some tropical moisture from Fred already for your Thursday. Severe thunderstorms mainly to the north in places like Virginia, Kentucky, and through the northern Mississippi River Valley. If you thought Thursday was bad across the northeast, Friday, it's even worse. Dangerous heat continues. Heat index values easily between 100 and 110 in many areas. Look at that. The apparent temperature, once again, approaching 100 in Harrisburg, D.C., well into the upper 90s, places like New York City, Atlantic City, Boston, Concord. This is just downright miserable. And if that wasn't enough, we have a cold front slicing in from the northwest across the Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Particularly between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. There's going to be a very good chance of strong to severe thunderstorms from the yellow shading and slight risk to the enhanced variety into the orange zone, where I'm very concerned in the orange zone we could have a widespread area of strong to severe thunderstorms Friday afternoon from damaging wind, large hail, and some isolated tornado potential as well. So we're going to watch for that here across the northeast for your Friday. And Friday across the southeast, we have the hazy, hot, and humid conditions continuing. Stronger thunderstorms across the north, kind of pushing a little bit further to the south into the Nashville area. But the big story will be the outer effects of what could be maybe Tropical Storm Fred by that time, but maybe most likely a depression just south of Miami, spreading showers and thunderstorms into South Florida, some with heavier downpours on some of those outer bands. Temperatures 90 in Miami, 95 in Tampa, and 94 in Panama City there. Really hot to the north, Raleigh at 98. And Saturday, finally, the nightmare starts to end here. The cold front slices through the northeast. We will still have a stray shower thunderstorm through noon west of I-81 in New York and Pennsylvania. And then east across New England and southern New Jersey, these areas, more of a chance through about 5 p.m. But this front will be on the move, and temperatures will be tumbling, early highs. And then look at that, 75 in Syracuse, Buffalo, and Erie. We're still holding on to 91 in Boston and Atlantic City and D.C., but humidity will be following as well. So relief is on the way. And looking at the southeast for your Saturday, this is where things really start to go downhill. Not only from the north, you have the front pushing in, and you have a chance of strong thunderstorms from Birmingham, Atlanta, Raleigh, and Norfolk, damaging wind, large hail with this frontal boundary as it sinks to the south. But you also have Tropical Storm Fred moving up along the western coast of Florida, spreading heavy rain, anywhere from 3 to 7 inches of rain, and strong thunderstorms that happen with these landfalling systems as they interact with the friction of the land from Miami up to Tampa and the Florida Keys as well, into the yellow shading there. So we'll have a lot to deal with here in the southeast for your weekend. Look at that. Temperatures actually being held down in Miami and Tampa into the 80s with that rain and thunderstorms moving in with the associated Tropical Storm Fred. And to the north here, temperatures will be cooling down as well behind that front to the north. And Sunday, this really makes it all worth it, because you really deserve it in the Northeast after that horrible week of heat and severe weather. Look at that. This is about picture perfect. This is about what you'd want your entire summer to be like. And there it is. Humidity values between 30 and 40%. Temperatures mainly into the upper 70s, near right around 80. So there you go. Enjoy it, because as we know in the Northeast, these things don't last. Sunday across the Southeast. Tropical Storm Fred continues to move towards the north-northwest here along the Florida coastline. It starts to slow down in forward speed, exasperating any the heavy rain situation, continuing with additional rainfall amounts of 2 to 6 inches. The heavier shading in the darker greens, that's where the greatest risk of heaviest bands from this storm is. Of course, the western Florida peninsula up into the Florida panhandle. You'll be on the east side of the system. That's the bad side of the system, so to speak. You will have a lot in the way of potential for some severe weather as well, some of those isolated tornadoes, especially into the yellow shading there from Tampa all the way up to Panama City. So if you live up in the Florida panhandle, you are definitely not out of the woods of this. In fact, it will probably most likely skip up along the coast and eventually make landfall later Sunday night, early Monday morning across the southeast. So there you have it. This is what we're looking at, and that frontal boundary to the north will continue to stall out and be the focal point of some showers and thunderstorms. And here we go, taking a look at extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, and all points along the upper Susquehanna River Delta. Thursday, this is a really bad time of it, because Thursday we're going to be seeing mid-90s, but the dew points are going to be in the mid to upper 70s. This is going to make the heat index well up into the 100s, probably pushing 105 in many areas. This is really downright dangerous, so if you are outside, really stay in the shade or get in air conditioning. It's advisable. Also, Friday, another day where we could see heat indexes between 100 and 105 easily. The lows aren't going to provide much relief either. Friday afternoon, particularly between noon and like 8 p.m., especially later in the afternoon, we're going to see that cold front push, and we're going to see strong to severe thunderstorms, hail, damaging wind, isolated tornado threat as well. We do need the rain, but not this kind of rain with the embedded severe weather. And Saturday, we might have a stray shower or thunderstorm in the morning or early afternoon. We will be clearing it out. Wind will be kicking in from the northwest. It'll feel much better throughout the day. Into Sunday and Monday as well. Finally, some nice weather. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. Don't forget to subscribe to me on Facebook, Meteor Mark, Weather Northeastern. Also, Twitter at WX Northeastern, Hurricane Northeastern on Facebook as well, MeteorMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell button so you're alerted when I come out with one of these videos. Question or comment in the comment section below. If you haven't already watched my Hurricane 2021 Outlook, it is in the description down below as well. Go ahead and click and watch.